Why is embarrassment such a problem? Today on the Happy Headers, Paul and I are going to share our embarrassing moments.
I'm embarrassed about that already.
Yes, but it's important to be able to feel embarrassed and to be okay with getting on with it.
Well, it is, and stick with us till the end because we're going to share with you some strategies that you can use to help you deal with embarrassment, get over it, and get through it.
Yes, because I've
you first. What's your most embarrassing moment?
Well, I think there's been a good few of them.
Okay.
But when I was only about 13 or that,
right,
I was in school, right, and years ago, women didn't talk about the menstruation or their menstrual cycle or anything like that. It was all a big secret. It was all hidden. And I remember I put a sanitary towel into the middle of a geography book, right, and I was in business studies class because I knew my period had arrived, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to manage this? I need to go to the bathroom immediately, because we didn't want a murder scene. So anyway, I put the fucking sanitary towel into the thing, and there was two boys sitting right directly behind us. And as I was taking it out of the bag, it slipped out and fell out on the floor.
And everybody saw it.
I was like, oh my God, this is awful. And I tried to get the book down on top of it, and then the teacher said, Siobhan Gertie, what are you doing with that geography book out in the middle of business studies class? Give me that. I was like, no, please don't take it off me, please. And she actually stood because I never would challenge the
And did she cop on to what you were doing?
She didn't know, but she left me alone. And then I said, please, I'll tell you after class why I have it out.
So that finished you in geography.
That was the end of it.
Terrible.
Oh, good. Tell us about yours now.
Okay, again, there's been a few. And I think I've mentioned this, I think, way back in one of our earlier videos. There was a girl that I fancied when I was in secondary school. And you wouldn't believe, I was quite shy, a little bit.
He was, yeah.
A little bit. I don't know what's happened to me. I do actually, that's another video. But I made it my business, to be where she was. So she went to a different school, and when we go uptown on the breaks, and she'd be hanging out with her friends, and I'd be with my friends, I'd kind of make sure that I was where she was going to be. So you get involved in conversation and messing and joking around. I didn't have to talk to her directly because there was 3 or 4 of them and 3 or 4 of us. So I'd cover.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was probably on to me because she's going to go, that weirdo's showing up everywhere I go. He shows up. But there was one time where I was getting kind of close to thinking I might make a move, okay? But I had a really, really heavy cold. You know that way your head is just chock-a-block full of mucus, this yellowy, orangey mucus. And I didn't want to stay at home because I wanted to make sure I could see her.
Oh, God.
So I'm in school and I'm suffering, head down, trying to, And at lunchtime we go uptown and I am dying. Oh, and I'm trying to kind of get rid of this stuff. And what happens is that I feel this sneeze coming on. You know the way you feel a sneeze coming on, but you're not sure. You think it's aborted. It's not going to happen. It's not going to come out. And then the next thing, it just catches you by surprise. And you try to smother it. So I close my mouth and everything comes out my nostrils. And I'm down like this. And next thing, this bungee cords of stuff. Bing, bing, bing. And I've no tissues or nothing. And next thing I notice is a set of feet. And I look up and there she is.
Oh, Christ.
And that relationship never happened after that for some reason.
That's all she could see forevermore.
That's her impression of me, yes.
Oh, Paul, you poor thing. I feel so bad for you.
So it scarred me.
It's such a horrible thing to happen, though,
yes.
Isn't it? So many things like that have happened to me. I mean, even the first date I went on with my husband, right? Long time ago, guys. I would be very clumsy when I'm eating, and I would drop stuff, and especially when I'm nervous, and I was nervous with him on the first date, and I dropped food all over the table, but I strategically placed things like the flowers and my glass and cutlery and stuff to cover it. But then the waiter came down and cleared everything, and there was these spots of food all over the thing. I was like, oh my God, so embarrassing.
And he still went ahead and married you?
He did, yeah. He said he noticed me dropping the things.
Right. I thought this woman needs help.
The whole time. He just pretended he didn't see it.
I used to do martial arts, and there was one time... Oh, that's not funny.
Imagine him. fight.
There was one time back in the day where there was a group of Okinawan martial artists, the top guys in the world that they're at the style of karate that we did. And they came all the way over from Okinawa and the United States. There was other ones from the United States. And they came over to our dojo in Athlone here. And there was tournaments organised. And other clubs came around as well. You know, so this head guy in our style who was there, small little guy. And I was going to be fighting a sparring thing, right? Okay. So the guy I was paired off happened to be one of the guys from my own club.
Right.
And I knew this guy, he knew me, we knew what way we kind of fight, right? He was much taller than me, he was over 6 foot tall. My signature move was I'd do this thing called a sweep. I'd look him in the eye, but then take his ankles out with a kick.
Yeah.
So I was known for that, and he expected me to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm there and I thought, I am not going to do what he expects. I'm going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to kick him in the head. Nobody would ever expect that I could kick him in the head when I do low kicks. And there I went for it. And I put all the effort into, and the momentum of my kick went up in the air, and the leg I was standing on went out from under my arse, and I fell flat on my backside and my back, and I'm lying there on the floor, and everybody looking at me, and I think, oh my God, the dirt, open up and swallow me. And then I heard my sensei's voice across the room and goes, Paul, get up, you're not the first person to make a bollocks for yourself in front of a crowd. And I did, and I got up, and that, everybody laughed, and it was the humour that kind of got me through it.
Yeah. Brilliant. Which leads us into, you know, what you can do to help yourself in an embarrassing situations. Yeah. I definitely always use humour anyway, and I think you do as well. I do, and it's essential, because if you can laugh at yourself, then nobody's going to point the finger and laugh at you. The way I think we have, the way people treat us in school, you know, your peers in school, that kind of make fun or laugh at you. Yeah. But when you laugh yourself first, then you're in control of the situation. Exactly. Another embarrassing thing I did, I was acting in a play, and you have to change costumes, so I rushed off the stage, changed into my next costume, came back out on the stage, and my fly was down. Oh God! And I'm there in the front of the stage, and I'm talking like that, and there's people kind of looking at me and saying, I really have a captive audience here. And it wasn't until I came off stage, actually I didn't even notice when I came off stage, it wasn't until the interval or the end of the play where people come up and said, yeah, that was it. Why did you have your fly down? Like, I didn't see the relevance of it. They thought it was part of the thing. Oh, Jesus. And I'm the kind of, I kind of bluff it, and I kind of tell them, oh yeah, no, the character says it in the plot thing, yes, I was fly down. I don't know if it was my shirt sticking out through but it was, oh, Jesus. I made fun of it myself as well, you know. It's the way to go, like. I mean, I know, like, myself as well, if somebody falls in front of me, I'm very bad. Like, I'll start laughing, you know. And it's not because I don't care that they're hurt. I've, like, often elderly women, you know, I remember an elderly woman one time falling outside of Brown Thomas. Yeah. She got her I think it was her handbag or her coat caught in the door when she was coming out. Right. And she swung around, like, elaborately and slapped her face up against the glass door.
And you were there laughing?
Fell on the ground, and I fucking burst out laughing. I had to run away because people were looking at me going horrified, like, how could you laugh? This poor woman is in a heap on the floor.
It's a comedic thing, you see, in a way. If you saw that in a comedy thing, you'd laugh.
Yeah, you would.
But it's also an anxious thing, because you kind of go, what do I do?
Yeah, I know. You'd imagine I'd freeze instead of
similar laughing. To that, when I was a teenager, coming out of the local shop, I was going to go into the local shop with a friend, and a woman was coming out, and she was like typical the way women used to be back in the 1970s. She looked like a bowling pin. She was that kind of shape, and she had a big kind of a coat on her tied, and she had a headscarf, and she had chopping bags, and she tripped in the step coming out, and she fell down on the pavement, but she literally bounced like a rolling pin. Oh, and came to a stop. And my friend just burst out laughing, and then we kind of picked her up.
Yes.
But I was trying to pretend we weren't laughing.
You tried to stifle it.
Yeah.
And then for me, then it comes out in these snorts. I'm like,
yeah.
I just can't hold it in. It's very bad.
So, if you embrace embarrassment as part of it, every human being on the planet knows what it feels like to be embarrassed and be in an embarrassing situation. And if you can laugh at yourself and kind of realize, do you know what? I'm embracing my imperfections. Yes. I don't need to be 100% pristine all the time like I am here on camera.
I love it. He's putting it on muff with me now.
You can sign off. I'm not going to say.
Well, I will sign off, so fine. Seems you're allowing me to. If he's allowing me to sign off. We are the Happy Headers. Thank you so much for listening to us today, and please do subscribe to us. We're doing great and we love you guys. Thanks a million.
Bye.